Kamala Harris is no genius, so instead of defending her plan on the specifics of real issues like the border, she always takes the easier and far more familiar road, more babbling about racism, sexism, transgender rights, and, of course, climate change. The latest example is her ranting about taking away your and my Second Amendment rights. And we're quoting here, folks. It's a false choice to suggest that we have to choose between either upholding the Second Amendment or passing common sense gun safety legislation. I'm for the Second Amendment, says Kamala. I'm also for an assault weapons ban, universal background checks, and red flag laws, and on and on. Congress must have the courage to act, but until they do, the states must lead the way. Well, here now to examine Biden-Kamala Harris's assault on our basic rights as an American is South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem. Governor, welcome back. You look terrific. I love the whatever you say must be right because I see an angelic glow happening from behind you. But
been working on that lighting forever.
Yeah, let's see. So Cammie says I'm for the Second Amendment except for this, and then and throw in that. Why? Why don't they just come clean? They want to take our guns away.
You know, and this is the trend. They have continued to talk about the fact that Second Amendment rights are important, yet they talk about how they consistently want to pass policies and new laws that would violate those Second Amendment rights. So it's a hypocrisy and doublespeak that truly does confuse the American people. And when you have an American people that doesn't ever get to engage in the real argument of the depths of the policy, they don't know what to believe. And they do it to get votes in the short term. But what they are doing is a grave disservice to this country because our constitutional rights were fought for. They were what this country was built on. And when she endorses red flag laws that directly would give a tool to people to steal Second Amendment rights from anyone, when she endorses the kind of background checks that she's supported in the past, it is going to be the changing of our country in a way that the normal, everyday person will no longer have the ability to defend themselves.
Yeah, you know what they want.
And remember, our founders gave us that right so we could protect ourselves from a corrupt government. It wasn't so we could protect ourselves, from other countries or neighbors. It was to protect ourselves from a corrupt government. And that is exactly what Kamala and Joe Biden are promoting.
It seems like they always are going after that. They want that gun registry. They want it. Once they get every single gun owner's names on their books, then they can pull the rug out. Then they can go confiscate. They'll get the laws passed with their cabals, and then they'll come try and confiscate our guns. But as you point out, the Second Amendment, by the way, there's about 350, 400 million guns in this country with 330 million people. So they're going to have a hard time getting all those guns. Governor, you make a great point. The laws, they use the laws in their favor. And the reason why I bring this up is because we just found yesterday or the day before, Colorado has said their Supreme Court is trying to pull Trump off their ballot. And the reason is for insurrection. Governor, how in the world can a state Supreme Court try and convict an American citizen without the citizen ever having a say? I mean, in essence, that's what they did. They said he's an insurrectionist. They put him on trial internally, and they convicted him and pulled him off the ballot. Your thoughts?
Well, that's what's shocking. He's never been charged. He's never been convicted of this crime, yet they decided to remove him from the ballot for those reasons. It's a breaking of our judicial system that we haven't really seen before. And what alarms me, Eric, is that the more they do this, the more normal it becomes in this country. You know, when they did it the first time, it's alarming. They do it the second, third, fourth time, people start to say, wow, that's strange. And after the 10th, 20th time, it becomes normal and nobody notices anymore. And so when they do these types of things, it is with a specific agenda to undermine our way of life. And they're doing it in a way that people don't even throw a flag anymore. They're not even going to throw a penalty flag eventually if we don't stand up and really ensure that justice is done here. So I hope the Supreme Court acts soon and quickly rectifies the situation so we send the message to the American public that you get to choose the next president. You are the ones who go to the ballot box and get the chance to elect who is going to be your leader. This is still going to be a republic, and we still have the scales of justice that matter in this country, and we're going to stand up for that. So I'm grateful we have the Supreme Court that we have because I do believe they'll do the right thing and they'll do it quickly.
So the way this is working now, all of a sudden, California is saying, hey, we're going to try and do the same thing that Colorado did. The notice is that they're liberal states. They're run by liberal governors. Texas said, hey, if you want to play that game, given the amount of illegals Biden's allowed through our border, he should be an insurrectionist, and we're thinking about pulling Biden off the Texas primary ballot. Governor, you're governor of a state, I would call it a red state, solidly red state. Will you do the same if they're allowed to pull Trump off the primary ballot? Will you pull Biden off South Dakota ballot?
I'm going to follow the Constitution. And that's what I've done ever since I've been governor, is I do my job with the state constitution, what the U.S. Constitution gives me the authority to do, and I'm not going to overstep that authority, because that's when we break this country. So the process for that is certainly going to be through the judicial system, and then the Secretary of State has a role. And that's incredibly important for people in this country to remember. Just because the Democrats are willing to do unprecedented things to take away our rights and to deny us the right to vote in an election and elect our leader doesn't mean that Republicans should go out there and conduct activities that aren't correct as well. What it does mean is we need to outsmart them, be strategic. We need to talk in a way that the American people have the scales pulled back from their eyes and they see the hypocrisy for what it is. And then we go out there and we govern conservatively and show that our policies work. Here in South Dakota, our folks are happy. They're thriving. Incomes are going up here faster than anywhere else. Our birth rate is leading the nation because people have hope enough to have babies here and raise them and know they'll have careers and live out their dreams. Every state can be like South Dakota if you do things right and if you make every decision based from the foundation of the Constitution. So, I will never follow in the pathway of Colorado and California. I'll just tell you, that's not where I look for my examples. So I'll look for other people and other leaders that have proven that they know the right thing to do.
Governor, we've had you on for a long time. I think the people know, my audience knows, I think you would be a phenomenal vice presidential pick for Trump. Has he spoken to you about that at all?
Not about that specifically. We talk a lot, though. We talk a lot, and he's doing a great job. So, I think that your endorsement means the world to me, Eric. So maybe that's the one that'll put me over the top. What I want President Trump to do is I want him to pick a vice president that will ensure that he wins. He needs a vice president that will give him the best resources, the best spokesperson, and someone who's smart that can go out there and help him carry his message of America first. So he needs the best vice president that will help him win, and I'm all in to do whatever he asks me to do just because he's the guy that's really going to put this country back on track.
I think you just checked a bunch of boxes of yourself there, Governor Kristi Noem. We really appreciate your time, and we'll bring you on when and if that does happen. I'm guessing sooner rather than later. Kristi, thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a wonderful day and Merry Christmas.
You too.